I'm Brian Hanford with Gamer World News. Nobody thought that the gaming community would be the backdrop for yet another mass shooting in America, but it has happened. Sunday, August 26th in Jacksonville Landing, Florida. Now, this isn't just a story about survivors, it's a story about what needs to happen right now. Joining us now is Ronald Casey, a veteran Madden NFL player going by the gamer tag Cyrus the Virus. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ronald.
Thank you all so much for having me.
Now, first, how are you feeling after all this, and what is it that you really want people to know and understand about what happened?
Of course. So now that I've been home for a couple of days, I've had time to process things a little bit better. The first 2 days, the first 48 hours were the worst by far. I'm still shaken up, but I've had time to think. And, first of all, I want to say that my heart goes out to the families of the lost ones. The guys who really were shot in the incident, and my heart goes out to them. I've heard that one of the guys may not be able to play video games ever again. I can't even imagine what that feels like right now. And the biggest thing to me also is, Madden is a home. It is a second home for me. I've been playing for 14 years, and I can go anywhere in this country to any major NFL city, and I know somebody there, somebody that would let me stay at their house. They would provide something if I needed it. This is a brotherhood, we are a family. So the fact that we lost guys is just, I can't tell you the feeling. It's horrible. This shooting did not happen because of video games. This shooting is much more in depth. People aren't aware. And, unfortunately, with the generations of, people growing up now, things just aren't taken serious. People don't respect rights like they should. Too much bullying and things like that go on, and it's tough.
I know that you made a conscious decision to protect your friends like Matt and Joel Porter as well while you were at the event, while the shooting was happening. What was going through your mind to literally risk your own life to protect those around you?
It just brings the emotion in my body I can't describe, man. Like, my eyes are wet right now. Like, I feel like it's just tears, man. Like, these guys are children to me. And I'm a protector by nature. I know that. I've always been like that. But, when you're in a situation like this, you never know what you'll do. You just never know. My mom, she always says it, it's fight or flight. You either have it or you don't. And that day, thankfully, as I watched Oliver run by, and towards the end of the shooting, he got shot. He kind of stumbled and he made it out the door. The shooter kept shooting, and at that time, the bullets just felt so close. And I'm looking down at these guys just laying on the floor, and I just made a decision, man. I was like, well, I can't get to the shooter because there's too many people in the way. There's chairs flipped over. There's too much going on. It's too chaotic. I can't get to him. So I made the decision to get on top of them because I was the biggest guy in the room. And it's like, if we're going to get shot, I knew it was a pistol. So I kind of in my head, I guess, decided maybe I won't die, but if I get shot, at least they won't get hit.
I mean, that is true heroics, and the fact that you were willing to do that, it says so much about you as a person, you and your character. And I know for a fact that there are a couple of people that, thank you with their lives, and we all should take example from that. And I also know that you've taken that feeling forward and you've started a GoFundMe survivor fund for PTSD. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I actually didn't want to ask anyone for help. I've kind of always dealt with things on my own, and a lady reached out to me on Facebook. So I said, okay, you know what, there's a couple options that we have, and I told her to GoFundMe, and then she was okay with it. So, she basically persuaded me and told me, it's okay to ask for help when you don't, when you can't do everything on your own in a time like this. So she's the one that convinced me.
One of the biggest things and one of the most important aspects about you talking about this and getting the word out is just the fact that other people who have been through this can also feel that there is community, that there are people sharing their feelings, so it may give them the strength to do the same. And so what you're doing is extremely important and powerful, and I know that we here thank you so much and are really honored to speak with you and honored to see what you're doing and taking charge and taking it into your own hands, because you have to, and you've been put into that position.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys, like I told you, they're younger. They don't want to talk. They don't want to be the voice. They don't want people from EA to let them not play in tournaments and things like that. I'm not worried about anything like that, man. I'm worried about, obviously all of us recovering and getting better. I'm worried about our mental health. I've never dealt with PTSD before. So this is a first for myself, and I didn't realize how bad it was going to be. So the awareness in that alone, I've joined a bunch of different groups, like support groups. If I have to be the one that talks about the event, and I have to be the one that, tries to get the awareness and the help and let it be.
Now, are there any specific steps that you think need to be taken or you'll be taking moving forward?
I can't even think about picking up my controller to play Madden, something that I love to do. The mental stuff, the mental side of it will take a while, and I hope that I can pick it back up. I hope that I can get on there and talk to the guys. I hope that it will become easier over the next couple of days. And, I'm just going to try to stay strong and stay motivated and get the correct help that I need, because I think without support and without everyone talking to me, I don't know where I would be right now. I guess in my head, I feel like anybody would have made that decision if they're me. And, I would just like to think that, man. I would like to think people would be brave and step up for others.
Well, whether they would or they wouldn't, you did, and that is heroic, and that is truly inspirational. And I think that's what people are responding to, and why there's so much weight behind your words, is because people are seeing this as someone that, is the epitome of what we hope we would have done, and the inspiration aspect of it. So moving forward as well, do you think there are specific steps that EA should be taking to help you and others like you? Do you think there are specific steps that they need to take for Madden moving forward?
Of course. The biggest thing is at future events, the security has to be there, because what's to say now that somebody else in this world watches this happen and goes, oh, now EA has security, let me go prove them wrong. What's to say that that won't happen, There's so much more to this that they have to take serious. Something that they really have to think about is like location, and the security of players, because it's very serious. Celebrities won't even go to places because it's so chaotic. So these Madden players who are top tier level players, they are treated as celebrities. You never know when you're going to have a person who's, not stable, do something that they shouldn't be doing, whether it's throw something at you, whether it's laugh at you, whether, anything. So you never know. So with a big company like this, not having the tournament at a correct venue, that's huge. No security, that's huge.
Absolutely. I think that for all of us, there is that feeling of there has to be something done now. And there has to be something done for all future events in all esports, all gaming across the board.
Yes, I agree. The gaming community has really come together with this as well. I have seen tweets from top tier players from Fortnite, from Call of Duty, from back in the Halo days. I actually know a lot of the pro shooter guys, and the fact that I've seen some of the tweets that they've made is just like, wow, man. Like, at the end of the day, this is one big community. The gaming guys are supposed to stick together, and it's just, my heart really just goes out to those families, man, and the people who got shot. It's just like, wow, like, this is such an eye-opener. Like, we all really need to be together. The bullying stuff it's just gotten worse. And as I've gotten older, it's like these younger generations, they're not understanding that your words can really hurt people, and things that you say, they really will hold you accountable. I would just say this, that there needs to be more leadership for the youth generation. There needs to be more people stepping up to talk to these guys and let them know that, to be nice, not to be so just saying the wrong things, man. I just can't even imagine doing something like that.
Yeah. And also, as the gaming community is ever growing and is becoming more and more monetized, we're talking huge, as you mentioned, billion-dollar companies in a multi-billion-dollar industry. We see in traditional sports like football, basketball, baseball, these professional players have access to not only medical doctors, but also mental health doctors and psychiatrists, and maybe, this will help to start that transition to offer professional gamers and esports players the same type of healthcare and the same type of attention to, their mental and physical well-being.
I agree 100%. And when something like this happens, a tragedy, if you don't have the proper things in place, you're just really dropping the ball for your guys, man. The guys that are, hold your community together. You got to be there to support them. In this case, EA really needs to be there to step up, not only for the families, but for the survivors, for the victims who were shot, for the rest of us. It's, they got to be there, man.
Absolutely. And hopefully, as I said, with your willingness to come forward and to say these things, it will inspire other people to say the same thing, and then the industry will recognize we need to do something about that. So really, thank you so much, Ronald, for being willing to talk about this and being willing to, put your feelings out there for all of us to know and hear, because it's something that we do need to know. And from game organizers to players, everyone needs to understand that there's such an emotional toll in every aspect of this that, if we can't understand, we can empathize with, and we can see that there needs to be a change. So thank you so much for saying this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm just glad that I can be here and have a voice for, a lot of the guys. I just can't be more thankful that I'm alive, and my heart really goes out to the families, and I just really hope from here we can take the right step in the right direction to, come together, stay supportive, and I hope that things can improve immensely.
Absolutely. Gaming is taking over the world, and so these things need to be looked at with a very, very intense and serious perspective. And with, words from you and people like you, it will get there. And thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate having you on today.
Thank you.
This tragedy has affected our entire gaming community, from the developers to the players to the fans. So let's help the people that need it. Please check out GoFundMe Jacksonville Survivor Fund PTSD, and let's give support to the people who need it.